Alright, you can talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the penultimate round of the BISC GT3 Championship in Season 1. What a great championship we are having, as the top three are still fighting, still close, still just 17 points apart, with still 2 rounds to go. And the best part being, these final 2 rounds are reverse grid rounds as well. We've only got 3 of these this season, but they're all, well, 2 of them are in the last 2 races of the season. It's going to be very exciting indeed. Myself, Ewan, and Austin Scheff going to take you through the action here today, this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. A good morning for us. Austin, it is the second of our reversed grid races, and 2 of the 3 of those are coming in the final 2 races of the season, where, as I say, we've got a really close championship. Guillaume Dombre, Eric Aria and Ivan Vazdiato separated by just 17 points, and tonight is going to be very, very high stakes for them as they look to win this title. That's not a great start for Lee Harrison, or indeed Vazdiato, actually, that is, who finds himself off in the grass in the Porsche as he tries to avoid. But yeah, this will be a good race today, good 2 races today, very important for this championship, I'm sure, as well.
For sure. It's basically at this point, it's like it's no holds barred, where you have to just hope you do a good enough job in that second race in order to actually have a chance at continuing your championship run. It's going to be hard for some of these guys who win this race and then start in the back and then have to worry about the fuel strategy, but it's what's going to happen, and it's what what they have to deal with. And so all we got to do is watch and see if anyone can go from the back to the front on that second race. As you mentioned, it's a reverse grid, so whoever starts first or finishes first in the first race starts dead last in the second race.
Yeah. And just to give you an idea, by the way, we'll get the number on the field coming up again when the lap times start to come in, but it's about 20 of them here today, which is a pretty big reverse grid field here for this round. And all the championship contenders are here. Guillaume Dombre is leading the championship after taking points away from Aria. In fact, he took 17 away from Aria last race. 4 points ahead, 4 points the gap there. Vazdiato 17 behind. They are the only 3 who can win the championship from here. And to be honest, I've been writing Vazdiato out a bit too early, I think. It's still very much there in the fight, that's for sure, as the drivers now work their way into the final sector and try and find some space on this racetrack. It's quite a long racetrack, to be honest, and so you should be able to find some space. Can you find the speed, though? That is the case around here at Fuji. It is a difficult circuit, very difficult indeed. So I just wonder whether we are going to see these guys struggle to find the space, or whether we are going to see them little bit more in clean air over the course of this. How they're going to get to this circuit as well. I know that people really do like this circuit, other than the final sector, really. People don't really like this.
Most of these guys have started their lap times, so we should see them coming up shortly.
For the new tyre warm-up phase in GT3, the first lap time may not be the best lap time anymore, but we'll see how representative it is. It's quite warm on the track temperature at the moment, 43 degrees Celsius. That's up in the high 100s, maybe 110 for Fahrenheit, which is it's pretty warm, but unfortunately the higher track temperature doesn't really mean the tyres warm up much quicker, which is not ideal, really, at this phase in the run anyway. Here come the times first time round. Eric Aria goes to the top with a 140.7 ahead of Vazdiato, and then Guillaume Dombre, who's third. So the championship contenders showing themselves to be the best drivers in the field, but they are being led by Eric Aria in that first lap time.
And if I were them, I would definitely be on the lookout for Eric Aria in race 2. He did have a rough race last week, Didn't go so well for him, but hopefully he's hoping to turn that frown upside down and do a spectacular job here in race 1 and in race 2.
And that's what it's about tonight. You've got to be within a certain amount of points as well after tonight, and if you want to still be a championship contender. The maximum points you can score in one race is a 37-point score, but also there is a couple of bonuses in there, so it goes to just over 40. Oh, there's a big spin for Lee Harrison. We saw him spin out of turn 1 in the opening lap of the qualifying session. He's spun again into the wall in the final sector now.
As ladies, he's able to continue. It was a light hit, as long as it was nothing too serious. But he's really slow.
Played a couple of people fast, but has he got the damage is the question. As Fantasyata improves, Dombre improves even more. Eric Aria didn't improve there. Oh no, sorry, spoke too soon. He does improve now. 39.9. I mentioned these times are going to tumble after that initial first lap time, and they are starting to do that now. Aria goes to the top ahead of Dombre, and then Dante Oliver has actually got himself involved here ahead of Ivan Vanstiato.
They're riding with Scott Evans.
Currently running 5th in this Ferrari. Had another Ferrari actually, Cristiano Kreiset, who's in 6th place. 16 drivers in the field so far. You can see them all on the left-hand side. They've all set lap times so far. Even Matt Warner actually, who was a bit slow to get out of the pit lane initially. He's back in. He's in the session now, and he's in 9th place so far in this qualifying session. A bump over the curbs for Evans there. Further up though, Guillaume Dombre takes the best lap time of the day so far. Vanstiato will be over the line next, and then Arias following him very closely. So those two will hopefully for them improve nose to tail. Over the line they go now. Vanstiato does not improve. He slipped behind at those guys, but Aria improves again. Just 36 thousandths between Aria and Dombre, who are nearly a second in front of Ivan Vanstiato now.
I'm going to say this is going to be a great battle between Eric Aria and Dombre. I'm excited to see how this one pans out for them both. There's some really close racing between these two.
Vanstiato's off through turn 3, and he pulls back to pit lane, so that's going to be the end of his charge in this session, it looks like. Not going to be able to get out in time and warm his tyres up in time for another run here, Vanstiato. So 4th place is going to be the best place he ends up with here, and look at how close the guys are behind him. He could get overtaken by quite a lot of drivers in the last part of this qualifying session.
I think the main part that's going to get you a lot of speed in the qualifying is being in the slipstream. Definitely makes lap times a lot faster, and it's going to help you a lot in race 1 to be fast.
Especially in the long front straight, slipstream is a big part. You've still got to do the work yourself in the corners. Dombre comes into pit lane. Looks like Eric Aria is pretty much nailed on for pole here, as someone's having a spin there. There it is, Michelangeli. Lee Harrison not the one having a spin this time, which is a good news for him. And through the final corner, he and Scott Evans, who's to the coattails of this slipstream at the moment, but he won't be getting anything major from that sort of distance. Not too many improvements happening now in terms of lap times. Carl Newhill a little bit faster than what he managed to do before. What about these guys? Harrison doesn't go any quicker, neither does Scott Evans. We're starting to reach a limit here, less than 2 minutes to go, and there's not many improvements happening at all. All of the top 6 are in pit lane. And ending the session very soon. Matt Warner's the only one who's really going to be trying to improve on any times here. He's only on his 4th lap right now. And as I say, I think he'll be wanting to improve on this final lap time of the day. But none of these guys are going to get anywhere near Eric Aria, who looks like he's taken pole here. And Guillaume Dombre will be alongside. They're a long way ahead of the rest of the field, those two.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really big factor for those two, since they are already fast enough. So it's going to be seeing a great battle between some of the 2 fastest guys in the BISC GT3 Championship here at Fuji.
Evans comes out the final corner, but he's coming to pit lane now. Worth practicing, just in case. Pretty fast entry to that pit lane. Such a high-speed chicane. There it is. It's a little bit conservatively on the way in, just to make sure he gets it in. Same for Angeli. Just puts the practice in as well. And the checker flag waves. And that will be the end of that qualifying session here from Fuji. There are your results. Eric Aria wins that qualifying session. He's only just in front of Guillaume Dombre, with Dante Oliver and Ivan Giatto lining up then on row 2. Jordan Piazzolla is in 5th, ahead of Matthew Brown. Ben Snell and Scott Evans will be on row 4, ahead of Lee Harrison and Matt Warner. Cristiano Kreiser just outside the top 10 alongside Ben Mitchell. Scott Burnham and Carl Newhill on row 7, ahead of Michelangelo and Luke Broadbent to round out the field. So all 16 drivers got lap times in, and they'll all be ready to go here for the first race from Fuji, who will be just 10 minutes, and going to be both very, very important for the front 2 and Vantagiato as well, to sort of set up their afternoons. They need a good first race before the reverse grid later.
About what it's going to take here. The speed and dedication. Got to nail these corners just right. Got to nail every sector perfectly. That's what these guys are looking to do up front.
Warner still waiting to get onto the grid here before we get rolling on this very short formation lap. We're not doing the full lap, we're just doing final sector. Could be enough. Pretty flashing in the background as well. It's maybe struggling to stay connected for somebody in the midfield. But now Warner gets himself onto the grid, and he's going to get us ready to go here from Fuji in a moment. Yeah, pace car soon pulls away from its place just before turn 10, and now we do get underway. Aria and Dombre on the front row, though. What a prospect this is. The top 2 who have been fighting over this championship all season long, they're now only 4 points apart, and they are on the front row of this race together as well. But what a big run towards turn 1 it's going to be, and what a big race it could be for those two.
We're on the final turn at Fuji, getting ready to start off our race 1.
Out the final corner, and has to wait for the pace car to pull in before getting going, but has let the pace car go away a little bit, just so that there's a bit of choice here as to when you can go. And the 2 run absolutely wheel to wheel on any of the roads. They're not really running very close, the 2 drivers, but the championship contenders are. Eric Aria crowding Dombre over to the left-hand side of the road almost here. They're almost touching on the way to the start-finish line, and he's going to go now, is Aria. Aria gets this race underway. Quite a long way before the start-finish line, but he does have that choice. Vantagiato flies off the start here, and he's going backwards, is Dombre, right into the middle of the pack. Look at this. Dombre goes into the middle of the pack here. Not ideal at all. Vantagiato down the inside. Oh, there's a car off as well on the right-hand side there. Eric Arria will lead. Vantagiato seems to have a black flag next to his name as Dombre is shuffled back into the pack. Not a good start for him. He's alongside Pianzola into turn 3. He will get that position at least, and he'll be just in front of Antti Oliver, will he? Not quite, no. He's still on the outside, and here comes Pianzola again. It is not the start that Guillaume Dombre wanted.
I'm going to be real here. I believe they were 4 wide when they went green.
Oh, a spin in the background. Another spin, and that looks like Evans went for that one out of turn 6, but the damage on the front end of Dombre's car already here. Definitely made side-to-side contact with Arria. We saw it at the time. And he's got a little bit of front left damage as a result. It shouldn't affect that Porsche too much. These GT3s are pretty resistant to the damage, but it definitely looked like they ran into each other on the front straight there.
Obviously, we got a pair of black flags that they have to serve eventually.
Giatto close down the inside there of Arria as Dombre did get past Dante Oliver. Arria weaves around. I think he's trying to say, let's get organised here and let's get slipstreaming together. Giatto not serving that black flag straight away. Makes you wonder what it was for, that black flag. As Arria goes on the defensive, Giatto goes even further to the inside. Oh, but he's forced a mistake. Aria's been off. Just made a mistake there. He's watching the mirrors too closely. And through goes Vantagiato. Driver and Snell were battling side by side, and so they don't end up passing Arria as well, but race leader forced into an error there.
As of now, it will still help Eric Arria because Vantagiato has to still serve his black flag eventually.
Oh, another look from Arria down the inside, but the Ferraris are on them now as well. And Snell close, looking behind, and Dombre has got past Kreiser as well. In the slipstream again. Looking for the move on Vantagiato. He's late on the brakes on the outside, very late, and he's going to get through. Great move from Eric Arria, back into the lead, ahead of Vantagiato, and then Ben Snell. And then you've got Guillaume Dombre, as he looks again, Vantagiato. Can't get through, though. Can't get through there into the final sector, and Arria gets back to the race lead.
Eric Arria looking to hold on. Oh, there's a spin.
Kreiser went down the inside of Dombre, and he spun around. Dombre's got a black flag next to his name now. So they all pull to the inside. Dombre might be coming in this time. Yes, he very nearly got rear-ended there. He is coming in. Guillaume Dombre on a black flag already.
An incident we had coming to that last corner. Kriza has now a meatball flag. He has too much damage and he's got to get that fixed. Eric Arria maintaining the field. Out by about 1 second from Ben Snell. Holding on to a decent sized lead. All he has to do is walk away and then he can come away with a win in race 1. Doing a pretty good job doing it.
Sorry, they've still got black flags next to their name, Vantagiato and Dombre, so I don't know what they've done, but they maybe haven't served their penalties. That unless that's a mistake on our system, they've both still got black flags, according to that tower there on the left-hand side.
Yeah, well, according to my timing tower on my app here as well, it also still shows that they have black flags.
We saw them both come in, so not sure what the problem is there. As run. Kreiser's back out on the circuit, by the way, after pitting. So Kreiser is 16th now. Arria weaves around to defend, and this looks like it's going to be a race win for Eric Arria. All looking good in the sprint race. However, because it's a full reverse grid, the fact that Dombre has not had a very good race one is maybe the best time to have that, because he'd be third place in the start of the second race, while Aria will be 16th. So Aria would take the championship lead briefly, but how many of those points can Dombre gain back again in race two?
You know, it would honestly be a great way to actually have a great night is by starting towards the front because of the reverse grid. So he can gain more points that way if he remains up front and doesn't make an error. But they have gone down pit lane again. Don't know if they're gonna serve their black flags this time.
Yeah, is it gonna clear them this time? Because last time it just didn't, which was very strange. Unless they have to actually stop in their pit boxes and serve the penalty or not, I'm not sure. But if they do, then they didn't do it last time. And Dombre does stop this time round. He does come to a stop. Vanciato leaves pit lane and he's still got the black flag. So this is a stop and go penalty. It must be. Vanciato's driven through pit lane twice now and it's not cleared the black flag, whereas Dombre came to a stop. And now he is serving the penalty.
They're now both in dead last. They're about to be lapped because of those two black flags that they have.
Dombre still in the lane here, so this is the longest that anyone's been stopped for. I wonder whether he's just decided to park it because he's had such a bad first race so far. But if he does, he'll be on the front row with Vanciato. As you say, it's, you know, not over for them. They can definitely come back again, and if they close the front in race two, they can gain some of those points back. But at the moment, as things stand, Aria would be the championship leader by 11 points as it stands. Well, it might actually be more than that, because we get 2 bonus points, so it might be 13 points, but either way, that would give him the advantage. If he then finishes in the top 5 in the second race, then he'll be the championship leader at the end of tonight. But this championship lead, Eric Aria, for so long, he finally gave it up last week, but looks like he's winning it back again immediately after just one race.
So by now, Dombre does have his black flag cleared. Now we're just waiting on Vanciato to get his black flag. My apologies, my microphone disconnected. But as I was saying, they must have been stop and go penalties, and it must have been a decently long stop and go penalty.
Yeah, must have been. Vanciato towed back to pit lane, by the way, after not having served it with a second drive-through. He decided not to continue on anymore, so he'll be last. And Dombre will be on the front row with him in race number 2. That'll be a big race between them, but it's gone as pretty much as well as it can do for Eric Aria, who now receives the white flag, and we'll have one more lap to go in this race, first race of the night, and he will retake the championship lead as well. He'll be delighted with this, because this is a properly dominant performance in the race one, and it's absolutely perfect that his closest rivals have had a very bad first race of the day.
It might be a good thing that they can both start up on the front row for this reverse grid, though, because it's what, Vanciato in second place for those points, if I'm correct, and maybe having a good race 2 can actually help him a lot better than it did in race 1.
Vanciato's in the situation now where he does have to gain points in the second race, otherwise he'll be, or at least not lose too many, otherwise he won't be involved in the championship finale in 1 week's time at Mugello. That is also a full reverse grid night. But it's the final sector now for Eric Aria, and what a great performance from him. A mistake in towards turn 1 earlier on in the race as he was being put under pressure. You can tell the stakes are high, but he survived that threat, and he now comes out of the final corner to see the checkered flag at the line. He weaves around, because he knows the situation. He takes the time ticks away. We just about get 10 minutes. There we go. Over the line for Eric Aria. He takes the win, the fastest lap to go with it, and the championship lead after the first race at Fuji.
God, he's fast, man. He is a spectacular GT3 driver. He's always showing speed every week. That's what makes Eric Aria the current points leader, is just being fast and extremely consistent every single week.
Yep. He takes the 15 points for the victory, along with 3 bonus points as well. So 18 points gained, and that means he leads by 14 at the end of that first race. It has turned massively from a close championship between Eric Aria and Guillaume Dombray in favour of Dombray by 4 points. Now it's in Aria's hands with 14 points ahead of the rest of the field. That's a lot more comfortable than what it was at the start of this race.
Oh, for sure. Hopefully Eric Aria, I know he wants to do this, and it'd be really cool if he could. And if he does do it, go from the back to the front by being on a smart pit strategy and just keeping a nice, consistent, fast pace all around the entire circuit. It's really what it's going to take at this point, is just to continuously be fast and have a good pit strategy. Just make sure to avoid all these wrecks that happen and everything that goes on during the race, that first race that he didn't have to deal with. Now he has to deal with that for being in the back.
Just a quick warm-up session between the two races here for them to gather their thoughts. But yeah, for Aria, it's such a big race coming up here because, as you mentioned earlier, his championship rivals are going to be on the front row in race number 2. Now, they could finish 1 and 2 between the two of them and gain more points because there's more points available for race 2 than there is for race 1, and that would effectively negate the race victory in race 1. But Aria has got to pick his way through the traffic as quickly as possible in this second race, and he'll have longer to do it as well than just the 10 minutes that you get in race 1. And if he can just pick up some minor points maybe in the bottom end of the top 10, you need to be in the top 10 to get any points, remember. And if he can just pick up some very minor points even towards the back end of the field, he can decent championship lead into the final race of the season.
That's where it's going to be the most interesting, is that final race there at Mugello. To be the most important race in all of Benji's GT3 BISC championship.
Be absolutely crucial to see what happens. Not a very long warm-up session here, just between the two races. And again, if I was a driver, I wouldn't be driving in this session, to be honest, just to relax for a moment. Unless maybe you're one of those drivers who was out, like Mansuggiato and Dombray, who didn't do the last few laps of the race. But those who did, just most of them anyway, sit back and relax for these 3 minutes here to gather their thoughts before race 2. Race 1 was very clean, actually, overall, and so hopefully race 2 will be something similar, because, yeah, we know turn 1 here is a big hairpin, a big stop on the inside, and thankfully in race 1 we got through nice and cleanly. Hopefully that is the same in race 2 as well.
Yeah, it was definitely wild for that first lap as well, as, you know, we saw them immediately go, I think, 4 wide on the restart, or sorry, not the restart, the start of the race. And then a little bit of cushioning happened and a wreck happened, but by far, from what I know, that was the only incident that entire race.
The burnout in pit lane here. Those are the kind of thing that goes on in warm-up. Not too serious, really. But yeah, 3 minutes come to an end now, and so does that burnout for that Ferrari. Maybe not. Scott Evans still going. That's Mansuggiato who comes back to pit lane. Just wanted to do an outlap and a practice pit entry there as well, which may come in handy. In fact, it did come in handy for him in race 1, but of course you don't want to be making any pit stops in race 1. Oh, hello. They've still got they've still got the race results from race 1 in the grid for race 2. So, despite the fact we were told it was a reverse grid feature race in our calendar, it clearly isn't, because Eric Aria is starting on the pole here.
Well, this is just a predicament now.
Well, as I say, on the calendar, it's reverse grid final 2 races, but seems not to be the case in reality, and that makes things exceptionally difficult now for Baggiato and Dombre. They are going to be a long way behind Aria, and Aria, you know, can't win the championship tonight, but my goodness, he can very much get close to it with a solid second race performance as well.
As long as he stays out front in this race and doesn't have a worry from anyone, he can get some big points and take a huge championship lead going into the finale.
Because he was the championship leader, he can't actually take the title tonight. He's got to still do some work next week. However, can get close, and for whatever reason, it looks like the outside row of this formation lap just haven't got going. Hopefully they will get into line before we get onto the front straight here to start this second race.
Let's see if Eric Aria can have another dominating performance here in race 2. Hopefully he'll be smart on this pit strategy. Then that pit strategy helps him come away with this race 2 victory. It was an accident, I'm assuming, that he forgot to put reverse grid, but green flag.
He's gone already, out of the final corner. He's not waiting around at all. He wants his rivals distanced, and it's worked, to be fair. They're a long way off the back as come over the start finish line for the first time. You can choose when you go here, of course, if you let the pace car go away. Although he's invited pressure. Snell on the outside, Lee Harrison on the inside. He's not going to get down the inside of Aria, and Snell goes too deep. New championship leader leads out of turn number 1 after defending nicely and getting off to a very early start here on the front straight. He'll have to defend from Lee Harrison again, though. Here goes Lee Harrison on the inside. Can't get past Eric Aria, who races round the outside and continues in the lead of this race.
You can already see that this is going to be a great battle up front between Lee Harrison and Eric Aria. Eric Aria just defending for a position, and Lee Harrison just trying to get around Eric Aria to at least hopefully stay up front for at least a couple laps. As you can see, we have 26 minutes of race 2 to get through.
Harrison again looks to the inside. Not alongside, though. 3 wide in the background. Look at that. Warner on the very outside has to back out of it. And Piazzolla gets in front of... Oh, Dante Oliver goes around and spins out of the chicane. Angeli also spun there through that section. Got Bourman's already towed back to pit lane, and Baggiato's off for a second race in a row.
Not a good race for these guys. This is going poorly for the guys that actually wanted to be fast in this race.
Was very near Brown, by the way, when he went for that spin. So there wasn't contact there as Matt Warner gets into the slipstream of Newhill. McLaren stronger in a straight line, but there is slipstream and a very long front straight here. Fuji down towards turn 1. He's not close enough, though. And neither is Ben Mitchell, who's next in line by the looks of things. They all get very close to one another through turn 1.
Matt Warner gonna look to try to get past Kyle Newhill. There's Lee Harrison, Eric Aria. So far, it's been a spectacular day to beat Eric Aria. Winner of race 1 gets to start in front again in this second race, and Now all he's got to do is have a smart pit strategy and just come away with a spectacular victory, and he will take a decent sized lead going into the finale.
Well, this is looking ever better for Eric Aria. Couldn't be going much better for him, really. Dombre in the background is still trying to make his way through traffic, and to be fair, he's not that far behind Aria, and he's certainly not very far behind the drivers in front of him. So, see in the background, they're fighting very hard at the moment. Newhill and Warner through the final turn, very close. And we'll see who makes any moves down towards turn one there. Look at that in the background. All sorts of defending. Mitchell trying to keep Kreiser behind as well. As they all change positions further in the background.
It's parts of close racing, but for this battle of the lead, Eric Aria is just continuing to pull away, but Lee Harrison is trying everything that he can to get back up to Eric Aria, but it's just not working. Eric Aria is just that fast.
This is the battle. But Mitchell now just in front of Dombre, who got past Kreiser and Evans off screen. Now he's setting his sights on Mitchell, as well as Warner and Newhill, who are fighting for his position here. Warner very close again towards turn 10 if he wants to have a go, and well, he's been put off by Newhill defending, and Dombre had a look to the inside of Mitchell there, but Ben Mitchell saw that coming and covered the move as well.
Honestly, this is probably going to be the best battle we'll see all night. About five or six cars just in this little battle here. And it's a long train of just GT3 cars all trying to strive for a position for points.
Dombre smashed the anti-cut curve there through turn 15. Front wheels lifted off the ground. And he might... No, I thought he was coming in there, but no, it doesn't come into the pit lane. In the background, Evans just has a little look at Kreiser, but couldn't quite get past. Now he's got to tuck back in time for the touch claim all the way down this front straight now. And Evans, after doing that, will give it another go into turn one. He is not close enough, though. And they stay behind Dombre, both stay behind Dombre in 8th place. This is the group, though, for 5th place. Dombre needs to get past them quickly because it's distancing the front four now, who are breaking away.
These guys are all within about 2 seconds of each other, but they have enough of the slipstream that they can all work together. Oh, the front bumper!
Oh. It's come off. Dombre. Oh, it's back on. Clearly just graphical. As Dombre went down the inside of Ben Mitchell, muscled his way past. Kreiser and Evans will try and follow through as well, but Mitchell's still alongside Evans into turn 10, and he'll get 9th place back again at least, but that was definite contact, and Dombre moving Mitchell out the way to get ahead.
It's been a great battle for this 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th position, but now they're starting to get away from each other. And how do you think this is going to impact this portion of the field?
Well, it's already sort of damage done almost, because the front four are breaking away. These guys are still squabbling amongst themselves back here. He's got to find a way to get past them as best he can. So they now come towards turn one. Matt Warner down the inside of Newhill there. Oh, they're locked together, those two. Warner on the inside, Newhill stuck on the outside. And he should be far enough in front here, Warner, to get through, and there you go. Dombre wanted to follow through there, but he couldn't do it on Kyle Newhill. Oh, close. Newhill was very nearly hit there by Dombre. He saw it in the rearview camera. He likes this move down the inside of turn 6, does Guillaume Dombre, it seems. And he does get through into 6th position through turn 6.
Dombre is at this point just striving for as many positions as possible. He kind of needs it going into the finale.
He can get to 5th place. Oh, Warner spins in front of him, and he just slipped through. There was a small gap there for Dombre to slip through as that Warner span in front of him, and he managed it. Dombre's into the top 5, and he avoids an accident there as well.
That's really great to be able to avoid a spin like that. Just, you know, using your awareness and being able to, you know, avoid that.
And Mitchell, after 8.5 minutes, decides to go into pit lane. So these pit stops will start to become a little bit more common in the next few moments as everyone comes in. Baggiato down the inside of Evans. That was a bit of a bump there, and Evans goes all the way round. The spin itself wasn't caused by Baggiato, but there was contact with the driver of that Porsche, and Evans eventually went for a spin.
Kyle Newhill.
Yep, also spinning at turn 3.
Also backed up now.
Oh, close to a spin for Harrison. He has to gather it up. He's still not done it. Now he does. And loses out to Ben Snell, who is now into 2nd place ahead of Harrison. And Piazzolla, who's 4th. And these are the guys that Guillaume Dombre is trying to catch.
Curious to see how these two are going to help each other catch back up to Eric Aria. I mean, they're back almost nearly 4 seconds. Oh!
That's the big gap back to these guys now. But it shows the speed of Dombre that he's able to do this to them. And sets the fastest lap as well. That could be an extra point that he gains if he is credited with the fastest lap by the end of the day.
That's going to help him out a lot, especially because he's currently 14 points behind Eric Aria.
Baggiato closes in on Oliver. Tries it. Until Oliver was looking down the inside there of turn 6, but couldn't make it work. And it's always difficult when you're racing someone who is blinking just in front, and that's what Oliver is suffering with at the moment.
Gained a lot of time on Krisa, though.
Look down the inside again, and no way through there. Another look at the final corner, and no way through there either. Just plays into the hands of Baggiato, who closes in. So they all get in the slipstream of one another. They've got the option to come in now. They were on the right-hand side of that line, but they don't come in. Oliver will try and make the move on the circuit instead. Oh, close. He's going to crowd him out over the left-hand side. Really wants to keep the inside though, Kreiser, and he does. Down the inside for Baggiato.
Oh.
He wants to follow through, and he does get past Dante Oliver.
Dombre sets the fastest lap once again. He's all by himself.
Well, I guess that's why he is setting the fastest laps of the race. Another move down the inside for Oliver. Another look anyway. To turn 10. Fraser gets the exit out of the chicanes though. He looks down the inside but can't get through there. This will just allow Vanstiato to run away as expected he would anyway. Fraser and Oliver though will continue their fight. Getting the review camera there. He has another look at the final corner. A late look down the inside and a bit of contact between the two. Oh my word, I don't think Fraser can see him on his screen because he drove in through the Porsche like he wasn't there.
We just have to keep pace with each other. Harrison and Ben Snell.
There's Lee Harrison behind Snell. Then Pianzola and then Dombre, not really making too many inroads into these guys. Last time round, he actually lost time, despite the fact he set a couple of personal and overall fastest laps of the race. Last time didn't gain much time. It doesn't look like he's gaining much this time either. He's only got just over 10 minutes left of this race to get in this battle as well.
Yeah, and his main goal is that he catches up to these guys, and maybe he'll get a chance to catch up to Eric Aria when pit stops come. But how it's looking right now is that's not going to happen for quite a while. But he is gaining some time on Lee Harrison.
Harrison himself now in the slipstream of Snell. On the way towards turn number 1. He close enough for a dive here, and his fellow Ferrari it looked a bit far, but he might go for it anyway. No, not quite. There was a look. There was definitely a look there, but no chance to go through, and Dombre probably wants these guys to start fighting. If they fight amongst themselves, they will slow each other down and maybe let him into the fight.
And Cristiano Curza has a black flag. He's in pit lane now serving that. We know.
Hopefully he knows what to do when serving it.
Lee Harrison struggling to get by Ben Snell. Going through S's. Oh! Thought the rear end kind of hit a little sideways, but he was able to maintain control.
Word again. In through the final corner. So he's struggling for grip now. Excuse me. And Snell comes in. No surprise there because he'd really started to struggle for grip for whatever reason, and Dombre follows him in.
So a pair of pit stops. Coming right up.
Still yet to stop the top 5 in this race. Alongside Crozer as well, although he's a long way behind now. Nearly 50 seconds off the lead already.
Pianzola trying his best to catch up here.
Yeah, I was going to say, after Snell's pit stop, you would have thought that Harrison would have a bit of time on his own, but no, he's got Pianzola right behind him all over again.
Pianzola, it looks like he's gaining a bit of time on Lee Harrison.
The carrier's coming in, and these two are following him as well. It looks like with just less than 8 minutes to go that is the limit in terms of how far you can go into this race. And here come the leaders. This is why the practice for pit lane is so important, because it's a pretty difficult pit entry, this one.
I think it'd be interesting to see who can get out of pit lane out of these three first.
Where will Snell and Dombre be compared to them? Enquiries will get out on the circuit again first. That much is very clear. There he goes. But not long after, the others also rejoin. Yes, it's a reminder that Aria's not actually that far in front in the lead, but he's just making it look so comfortable at the moment. So Lee Harrison will be out second. And Ben Snell, who gets ahead of Pianzola. And Dombre is a bit closer to them, but not really very close. He's only got 6.5 minutes to get closer.
That's the main goal he should be worried about right now, is at least trying to catch the pack in front of him. Hopefully get at least a spot or two higher just to get a little bit more points. I think as of now, he's getting that bonus point for having the fastest lap.
Yeah, and I guess almost more importantly, Aria isn't getting the fastest lap point, which means he's, not only is he getting one step closer to Aria, but actually he's just making sure Aria doesn't get one step further away from him.
The smartest thing you gotta do going into the finale as well is make sure that your opponent, you can get one step closer to your opponent.
Well, just over 5 to go. It'll be 4 laps still to go, though, for Enquiries for the end of the second race. And the fact that they've been quick enough to squeeze an extra lap out of this race will be good news to Dombre, who is on the back of the 4 now. Harrison, Snell and Pianzola right up in front of him.
Even catching them. A little slowly, but he's catching them, and that's great news for Dombre.
Yeah, it is.
Falling back again, but he can make up a lot of time. Down the straightaway again.
It's not quite close enough at the moment, are they?
Oh, but they are reeling in second place, so that is great news. Oh.
Oh.
Ben Mitchell, Dante Oliva has a black flag. This is where the battle is at the moment. A good battle for second place, trying to come up here. It'd be a big important thing that these guys can all catch each other. And therefore it'll help Dombre at least gain a spot or two. They're making a lot of amounts of contact.
Oh. This just helps Dombre, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. It does. They keep slowing each other down by making that amount of contact. He's trying to catch up to them both, though, but with them being in the side draft of each other, it's not really helping Dombre, but now it is.
Here we go. He's got to do the. He's got to make these two, hasn't he? He's got to at least get third. I think Harrison's probably too far away, but he's got to at least get third. Oh!
Gets one.
As he was defending, yeah, he hits Snell.
He's looking to get one more in the last waning moments of this race. It means he's got to be a little bit aggressive, but he might have to do what he has to do to at least maybe get around him for the most part.
That moment right there was worth 4 points. So another 3 if he can get on the podium. He still has the fastest lap. So here he goes. Looking to the inside, can't do it. One more lap to go.
Oh. They're trying to help each other out.
Well, is he? Oh.
Like it's working too well. What is it?
Oh, he's defended at least. He's kept fourth at least, but he couldn't make any move for third.
He only has a limited time to do it now. This is the last lap.
He's going to run out of time, I think, Dombre, to get past it, Snell for third, but let's not, take anything away from him. He's still gained 12 places in this race.
That's spectacular thing to do. He did have a bad race last race, but he's really proved that he can actually have a good race and currently in fourth. Is continuing to lose time on Ben Snell.
He would have really preferred the full reverse grid, of course, but he's got pretty much all he can to remove at the final corner. Snell defends, and Dombre will try and get the exit, but he's gone a bit too wide there. Oh, unless Snell's thrown it away. Oh, he might have done. Over the curbs, and Eric Aria, meanwhile, out front, sees the checkered flag and wins this race from Fuji. He takes pretty much maximum points tonight. Snell, though, just about gets in front of Dombre. Snell very nearly threw that podium away at the end there, but Dombre just misses out. In the end, he scores 13 points along with the bonus 14, so loses another 8. He'll be 22 points behind Eric Aria going into the last round of the season now.
We got one step closer, which is what's important. A couple of these guys still trying to finish.
Yeah, still plenty of guys to finish, but I mean, what a great run from Dombre through the field. 12 positions gained for him. And a great battle as well for second place through most of that race. That was very entertaining indeed. But in the end, it is Eric Aria's day in terms of gaining the points today. Eric Aria certainly had the best day of those 3 championship contenders.
Oh, 100%. He led it, I believe, every single lap of this race. He didn't slow down once. Nobody slew him down. He was just on the gas, ready to show up, and ready to have an amazing race here tonight.
Well, that's just about it for the second race. We'll have a look at the race results when they're available for that race. Only a couple of retirements towards the bottom, and so we can see the results now. Eric Aria wins by 7.8 seconds in the end. Another great drive from him, ahead of Lee Harrison, who got on the podium. Ben Snell just about finished ahead of Dombre, 28 thousandths of a second between those two. Pianzola rounds out the top 5 with Ivan Vanstiato then getting up to 6th place. I'm not sure if he'll be mathematically out of the championship fight after this, but certainly won't have done him any favours. Matt Warner, Scott Evans, Ben Mitchell, Kyle Newhill round out the top 10. Michael Angeli, Cristiano Cruzet, Luke Broadbent, Matthew Brown round out those on the lead. Lap down to Oliver, 1 lap down. Scott Borman retired from the race relatively early on in that one. Let's have a chat to Eric Aria now, who can join us after that second race. Eric, congratulations on a double win here tonight from Fuji. Tell us how you're feeling at the end of that one, having taken a double win yourself, but also your championship rivals finishing quite a long way behind you on a couple of occasions tonight.
Hey, Ewan, thank you guys. Yeah, that was a really good race. Obviously, after the abomination last week at Bathurst, I needed this, and yeah, happy to come out with the double win. And I got to say, I thought the second race is going to be reverse grid. I heard some rumors, but I'm not going to complain about it not being reverse grid, considering what happened. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a good race. Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw on the calendar that it was full reverse grid, but as you say, I bet you weren't very disappointed that it wasn't the reverse grid and you could start at the front again in that one. How does it make you view this? Actually, sorry, let's go back to last week first of all, because we didn't get to chat to you after last week. Was Bathurst just a circuit you couldn't quite get hooked up with? What was the case last week?
I mean, I'm not going to lie, Bathurst is not my most favorite track to race at. I mean, I love watching the races, but yeah, to be on there, it's always tricky. But I also had some health issues and hardware issues. But yeah, considering what happened, I had to put a lot of practice into this week, get around Fuji, know my way around it, and obviously it was very helpful to be able to qualify first. Both races, it helped. And some great battles at the start of the first race, I got to say, with Ewan. It was really clean and really nice racing to finally, get some side-by-side action.
And how are you viewing that final race of the season now? By my very rough maths, it'd be 22 points, I think, between you and Guillaume. How are you viewing that final race of the season next week?
I know Dombre is Mugello is one of his favorite tracks, and he's going to be strong at it. So I have to put some laps around there. Maybe do some practice with him. I haven't personally raced at Mugello. I've done some practice laps back in Gran Turismo days. I know the track. I've watched a lot of MotoGP around Mugello. It's a good track, but it's not something I've driven the Porsche around. So I have to dedicate this week to get the track down packed.
Congrats again, Eric, on a double win tonight, and thanks for chatting to us at the end.
Thank you very much. I just want to give a shout out as well to my
Go ahead.
Beautiful fiance that always watching the races in the living room on the TV, and after the quali, after the first and second race, coming in, looking after me. So thank you, Lauren. Appreciate it. And thank you guys.
Thanks very much again for chatting to us. We'll see you next week.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks so much, Eric Aria, double winner tonight from Fuji. Just ahead of Lee Harrison in race number 2. Lee, welcome in, and congratulations on finishing second place in race 2 and third place in race 1. A double podium for you tonight, but that race 2 was a very intense battle to watch. It was good fun to watch. What was it like to be a part of for you, defending at the front there and eventually finishing second?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what happened at the start with everyone getting drive-through penalties and stuff, but found myself up a fair few spots at the first couple of laps there, and then, yeah, just held on for grim life. The Ferrari was a handful, not like last week at Bathurst where she was quite comfortable. This week, no mid-corner steer, and then as soon as you touch the throttle on exit, she wanted to spin you into the fence. So it was a handful tonight. It was hard to stay in a rhythm, but yeah, luckily I got it done.
In all but one of the rounds you've been at, you've managed to get a podium in one of the races each night. How sort of pleased are you with your performance this season, the way you've been going?
Yeah, look, it's a shame that I couldn't make all of the other rounds, you know, Daytona and I know I missed another round with some work commitments, and the bend was, yeah, let's just not talk about the bend. But pretty happy with my pace. It's been good. There's a lot of good guys in this league, so to mix it up the front with, you know, your Erics and Arias and William Dombre is pretty good. So fingers crossed we can pull it into next round as well and get a couple more podiums in the final round.
Well, absolutely. It's been great to watch these last couple of weeks, especially getting those podiums and wins in some cases last week, as you say. But congrats tonight on another successful run at Fuji, and thanks for chatting to us at the end again.
No problems, and thanks again to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Like I said, it's good to go back and watch it, and for Benji and all the guys that put on the league. I know there's a lot of effort that goes into it, having run a couple of leagues myself, so appreciate all the work that everyone does behind the scenes, and it wouldn't be me doing a post-race speech if I didn't thank my mum and my dad for bringing me here, so thanks to them.
Thanks very much, Lee. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
That's Lee Harrison, second place in the second race tonight in the double podium. Same double podium for Ben Snell as well, who can now join us. Ben, welcome in, and congrats on finishing just about on the podium. You just about got home ahead of Guillaume Dombre at the end. Tell us about that final sector, especially because through that final corner, I must admit, I thought you might have thrown that third place away.
Oh, so did I. How you going, guys? Yeah, absolutely wild. To echo what Lee said, absolutely zero practice. I bought the track about 15 minutes before we started tonight. Was happy to be in the top 10 in quali, and then the race start was pretty chaotic for that first race, and somehow I managed to wind up in third, and then Ivan had that black flag, so I inherited second and somehow held on. So super stoked with that. And then yeah, we were having a great battle, Lee and Jordan and I, and as soon as Dombre caught us, we all started getting a bit, we knew he was coming and he was fast, so we were all starting to get a little bit antsy, and I think we spent too much time looking at our mirrors. And yeah, obviously Jordan had that mistake where he come into the side of me, but luckily for me, it was just a bit of a glance and there was no real damage and I didn't really lose any time. And then, yeah, I started looking at my mirrors as well and just drove straight off the last corner and straight into the sausage curb.
Yeah, I mean, these sausage curves are very easy to grab at any point around Fuji, in fairness. Because they're in the way effectively in so many places, but yeah, it was an exciting run to the finish. In terms of this season as a whole, you'd probably say that this has been your best round of the season to date. How have you viewed how you've been going this season?
Oh yeah, by far this is definitely the best I've done, having a double podium. I think the only other real great result I had was the sprint at Road America. And then I think everyone had a shocker in the feature race of Road America there in the rain with the reverse grid. So no, I'm just happy I come in. I just didn't want to push too hard. I'm still fairly new to the GT3s. I do a lot more of the slower stuff normally. So just wanted to kind of just cruise and find my own pace. And turns out that worked really well tonight. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, congrats again, Ben, and thanks for chatting to us at the end tonight as well.
Thank you, guys.
So much, Ben Snell chatting to us there at the end of tonight's race from Fuji. He finished just ahead of Jordan Pianzola in both of the races tonight. Jordan, welcome in. Good to have you with us after a couple of top fives for you. How do you feel you went out there tonight?
A lot better than what I expected. Fuji is a tough circuit. It's exciting, but it's tough, and the Audi in these conditions, with it being like a 44-degree track temp, I mean, I know everyone was struggling, but that Audi didn't like anything apart from, I reckon, 2 corners in the mid-sector. So I surprised myself, but I'm also glad I got going away for race 2, because I accidentally threw away one of my gloves when I went to the toilet, and I forgot where it went when I was on the grid. So that wasn't fun. So that's why you would have seen me sitting back for a while on the grid then.
Oh, right. That makes sense. I did notice there was a big gap in the field. I thought, what's going on there?
Yes.
But,
Yes.
yeah,
I randomly forgot my glove and panicked, and yeah.
well, I've never heard that as a reason before as to.
Well, there's another one for your driver
exactly.
excuse list, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a growing list, but
Yeah.
you know, a bit more valid, to be honest. It's that is a real thing. Tell us how the Audi's been going generally this season, because I must admit, not a car that I see going very well generally. You know, it's been around for a long time in iRacing. I know this is an Evo version compared to the one that was first released nearly 10 years ago, but it still has that same characteristic to it seems to me, and you're the only one driving it this season. How has it been to cope with this season?
It's good. I mean, it's with it being mid-engine, it's going to be very much like your Ferraris and your Lambos and all of that. I find the Porsche can really have a big step on me in circuits like these, where you've got those elongating, sometimes off camber, really long, medium speed-ish corners. It can really struggle in those bits, but I love stomping on the brakes like Daniel Ricciardo, and this car helps me do that. So I think that's probably one of my main reasons is why I lean to the Audi. And I've noticed as well, I'm the only one in this championship with it. So I'm happy I'm doing Audi proud with it up there.
Oh, absolutely.
But,
Yeah, flying the flag on your own.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. It is quite good over the league. It has had a couple of struggle rounds, but as an overall, it's quite good. But it does have its tendencies to not be stable.
Yeah, I mean, you've scored points in every round, and a top 5 in all but one round. And last week was the first time you weren't in the top 5 in either race. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly doing the Audi proud, certainly this season. Well, thanks for chatting to us again, Jordan. Good to see you back in the top 5, and hopefully we'll see you again in 1 week's time for the finale.
Yep, thank you. Unfortunately, I couldn't get into the podium in race 2 because when I went for that move on Ben, it wasn't really a move. I was trying to defend from Dombre, and I looked in the mirror at the wrong time, and I copped some wheel damage from that one. So that ruined my chances, but I'm glad I kept it in the top 5, and you know, I'll be here for the final round next week, and hopefully I can do it again and try and step one better and go on to that podium. So I'll see you guys there, and that's it.
Absolutely, see you there.
Lovely. See you.
Jordan Piazzolla, the 5th place in race 2 tonight, 4th place in race number 1, double top 5 for the Audi driver. Well, Austin, that's just about it from us here tonight. A great battle for 2nd place, I think the highlight of the day in race number 2. But as far as the bigger picture is concerned, Enquiries has taken a big step forward tonight towards that championship, with both his championship rivals having a poor race in race 1. No reverse grid this time round, and so they weren't saved in race 2. They lost points on both occasions, and Enquiries has taken a big step forward tonight.
That's really good for him, because now he has like a decent sized cushion to actually try to have a chance at the championship next week. But now hopefully his 2 rivals have a better race in next week, and maybe we'll see a great battle for that championship between those 3 next week.
Absolutely. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens next week when we return in 7 days' time from Fuji. We'll be live same time, same place on the 15th of August, of course, 7 days' time for that last race of the season, which, of course, will have the same format as today. Maybe we'll have a reverse grid through halfway through for race 2, but who knows? We'll have to find out. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside Austin Scheff here tonight from Fuji, and from all of us here from the BISC GT3 Championship. It's goodbye from Fuji. We'll see you next week at Mugello. Goodbye for now.